Hi everyone, it's me, Paula. It's been a couple weeks since I've done the blog, and I apologize, but I've been having a kind of a rough spot lately, rough time. I'm now at the end of week 8, so I'm entering week 9. I think the last time I talked to you was week 6, and in those couple of weeks, since then it's been a little, crappy. uh, so I apologize for not keeping you in touch. What happened was, since I'm on ribavirin with the Harvoni, because I'm post-transplant without cirrhosis, it's kind of their criteria for who should be on what. I was on Harvoni and ribavirin. Well, I'd say about week 3, I started feeling, yucky and all those things. Well, and so they began to test my blood weekly, and what would happen was my hemoglobin was continually going down. So as of today, I've had 5 transfusions. Last week, after the last transfusion, they did take me off ribavirin. Yay! And so for the rest of the 4 weeks, I'm just going to be on Harvoni because obviously, for whatever reason, I can't tolerate ribavirin. My body just doesn't like it. So that's kind of where I am at right now. I'm starting to feel a little more human. I've kind of been able to get up and get around and actually do dishes and things like that. The rest of my house is an absolute mess, but I guess, it's all about priorities. And anyone who would come by to see me knows. So, that's kind of the way I deal with things. Whatever gets you through. So, I'd like to talk a little bit today about how I personally get through times when you just would rather curl up in the fetal position. And you really can't because, you're fighting the battle and you're trying to slay the dragon. So, what I found worked this last couple of weeks was, first of all, talking to my best friend and my husband, both of them who know me, have known me for years and love me and know that when I'm feeling bad, it's not personal or it's not anything about them. They know I'm just tired and all those things. So, talk to my best friend. I'll tell you the worst day. Here was my worst day. I started out in the morning, turned the tube on just as my usual, watching news, listening to commercials, and for some reason that day I just could not stand anymore. Got sick of hearing about ISIS and sick of hearing about all the, chaos that's going on here and abroad. So, and I'm sick of commercials, especially car commercials and Microsoft commercials who use those obnoxious electronic music behind them. Just getting that in. um, so what I did, and what always seems to help me, is music. It takes me away from all of it. So I put in my earbuds and put on my MP3 player, and I just started listening to music. Music of my preference. And if you don't feel in the mood for that particular song, you can just buzz right by it with your little click on your MP3. So I did that pretty much all day. I felt like a little turtle in my bed. I had the covers up and the headphones in, and I was just listening to music. And it was old music, and it was new music, and it was my favorite things. And I could just, as music does for me, and I hope it does for you too, it takes me to another place that's not quite as dreary and tiresome as where I'm at the moment. So that worked for me. I talked to my best friend in the middle of the day, and she listened to me and told me I could do it. and keep on keeping on. And the rest of the day, I listen to music in my little turtle shell. And when my husband came home, he listened to me and waited on me and brought me food and all those things. And that was pretty much my worst day. I know a lot of you can't do that. I think a lot of you have to go to your job. And especially if you work with the public, you got to put your smiley face on and tell everyone how wonderful you are. And I'm sorry. I wish everyone who was on this regime could just stay home and be, when they wanted to be a turtle in bed, they could. But that's not, that's not real life. Fortunately for me, I have the opportunity to do that. So that's how I dealt with, my worst days. You, I guess, as a person, have to figure out how you can bring your mind calm and clear and get to that point where you're in another space, whether it's for a couple minutes or all day. I don't know what works for you. Music works for me. If you paint or draw or um, whatever gets you centered in that place where your body can heal itself, you know, pray if that's what you do, all of those things. But you have to focus on you at the moment. Later on, you can focus on all the things that you have to do, but in the morning, whatever, if you can just get to that place for just a minute, you'll feel a lot better during the day. Just what I've observed through all my many experiences. What I heard throughout this whole time was first the specialty pharmacy lady called to say she was sending my last bottle of Harvoni and ribavirin. And so she talked a little bit to me about how generally people who are anemic and their hemoglobins are real low, like mine are generally pretty cranky. Well, she had asked me, was I depressed? I said, I'm not depressed. I'm just pissed right now. I'm pissed that it's winter outside and I can't go anywhere. And, I've got 125 TV channels and they're all obnoxious. I just told her all these things. And she said, that's not unusual that people feel that way. If they're low on hemoglobins or if they're using ribavirin. All these things are normal. So that gives me comfort. My caregivers told me the same thing. And see, I can laugh. I just don't bite people's head off and all those things. I can laugh at the fact that I'm right now just kind of cranky and bitchy. Because I know it's not going to last forever. I'm not going to be cranky and bitchy for the rest of my life. Just right now, when I'm just trying to get through this last few weeks before I'm undetected. So if you're feeling that way, it's normal. That's all I can say. Because I think this particular, if you're on ribavirin, and I don't know about Harvoni yet because I've not been on it just by itself. But it messes with your mind. Don't know how, don't know why, but it messes with your mind. So just know that, okay? And know that it's going to pass. So now my last 4 weeks, I'm going to be just on Harvoni, and I'll be able to tell you what it's like just on Harvoni. And I'm expecting it to be relatively free from what I've been through so far. I understand there's headaches sometimes. You have a fogginess in your brain called Harvoni head. All those things. I don't know yet, but I'll certainly tell you. I'm also tomorrow going for my 8-week blood draw where they look at my viral load. And so I'm excited about that, and I'm hoping that the next time we talk, I'll be able to tell you that I'm totally undetected, or at least, 1 or 2 points away. That's my hope and my dream. And so that's kind of how I am right now. I'm hopeful. I know I'm going to get through this, and that's all I can be. I've also tried to channel my irritableness, if you will, in kind of positive directions. Like, I got a notification that my Dish Network was going to go up $5 a month, and that just totally rang my bell. Because, I signed a 2-year contract with you, and you can just arbitrarily every year tell me you're going to raise me $5. So I called the customer service line, and I'm telling you, that guy knew from the minute he started talking to me that I wasn't going to be messed with, and I wasn't going to let his canned responses that he has in front of him sway me from the fact that it was wrong. I've been with them for 15 years. So I had a whole thing. I wrote it all out when I started and blah, blah, blah. And I just stood my ground. And, by the time I was done, I got all sorts of free stuff. So that was good. I wrote a letter to the editor of the paper because there's some stuff locally that's going on that's just silly and stupid, and I just wanted to draw everyone's attention to stop listening to all these negative and things, because we're all in this together. And so that's kind of how I'm trying to channel all this at this point. I'm doing some homework for the food pantry. I'm filling up little plastic baggies of non-fat dry milk that I can do, when I feel that like that's what I want to do. It's not something that's, high on their priority list. They just like it to be done. And so I'm doing that. That makes me feel a little more worthwhile than just sitting around, the house watching my obnoxious TV. So that's kind of where I am right now. I hope that you're in a good state, or at least coping somehow. I hope you've got a big old sword in your hand and you're slaying that dragon right now. We are working on it, and we are getting to the end. And we're going to slay this dragon, and we're going to be healed and cured, and then we can move forward and be productive, wonderful citizens. So, once again, I'm sending you my healing energy, and I hope you're having a great week, and I hope that your end is soon. Your light at the end of the tunnel is soon. So, have a great week, and I love you all. Hang in there. Bye.